team realizes this is a growth moment for us and an opportunity to continue to improve and get better. But we're going to have to play better football to be able to reach our goals when it's all said and done. There were some moments that really showed up. Obviously, special teams with the block kick, block punt. There were some big plays there. But to not be able to come out and have the same success in the second half that we had in the first half is certainly disappointing. And I think our players will certainly learn from that.
Right here, second row, left here.
Focus on some of the positives in the first half. The offense was really clicking. What was Will doing? What was the players doing? What worked for there?
Yeah, I thought they had a great plan. Starting off, they had loaded boxes inside. We were able to get the ball on the perimeter. We were able to take shots where we thought we could win. We connected on a couple of those. I think we scored all 5 of the first 5 possessions, but then obviously threw a pick in the last drive, right, which isn't good.
James.
Dan, earlier in the week, Tasha talked about defense's goal is to take away the opposing team's identity. You've certainly done that at times. Do you feel there was any facet of their identity you guys took away tonight?
We didn't play well enough as a unit to do what we want to be able to do. And again, the explosive plays is probably a piece that really started. They had 13 third downs in the first half. We got to be able to get off the field on third down. I think our offense only had 1 in the first half, and then in the second half, they had a few more, but they did a much better job moving the ball on early downs.
Back middle.
Jeremiah McClellan, really successful here today. Just how have you seen him evolve throughout the season? He had a really strong Washington game, and then just tonight, what makes him so successful?
Yeah, he's been really consistent down the stretch. He's where he's supposed to be. He's making tough catches. I thought that other one was really close again today where they had the PI. But he's attacking the ball, right, and playing strong at the top of routes. Is playing some good football for us down the stretch.
Front right, Zach.
One of the questions coming into this game was how you guys would deal with the rest, the layoff after last year. You said you had a different plan this year. How do you think you executed that and how that plan came to fruition?
Yeah, I think we started off hot, like I said. I mean, ultimately we can be better even defensively in the first half, but able to hold them to field goal attempts instead of touchdowns there in the first was a positive. But the second half as a team, we didn't play the way we need to be able to play. And you got to find moments like that when you have a big lead to be able to choke somebody out. We didn't do that.
Back right, Brett.
Dan, what would be the emotion you would use to describe how you feel right now? Is it upset, disappointed? Is it something else entirely?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't describe it.
Right there in the back middle, complete middle. Back row.
Feels like no matter what running back was in the game today, you guys were having success, whether inside zone, outside. Kind of just talk about the different successes that you were able to have with the run game and how you want to carry that into your next matchup with Texas Tech.
Yeah, when you run the ball well, you have a chance to win games. You can stay on schedule and be able to take some of the shots that we take. Stay ahead of the chains, not force yourself to make some tough third down plays. And, we did that pretty effectively today.
James on the left.
Talked about several of the redshirting guys and injured guys coming back. Your initial impressions of Dak and Gary, Mackay getting out there. I believe Gavin Nix also getting some run from a redshirt guy. Just all the guys who came back from both health and redshirting.
Yeah, I'll have to watch the film and see how each guy did individually. I think, again, there were some positive moments, but certainly moments for improvement.
All the way in the back, Jack.
Coach, you talked about the defense giving up some explosive plays, but your offense had quite a few as well. 9 plays that went for 20 or more yards. What did you see from JMU's defense that allowed you guys to create so much success attacking deep field?
Well, they're an aggressive defense. So when you can get a hat on a hat, you're going to have opportunities for guys to go make big plays. And I thought we did some good blocking on the perimeter, which was necessary to create that. We didn't have really penalties in that area as well, which is important whenever you're going to be aggressive. But when they play aggressive and they're going to have a lot of hats, you're going to get opportunities for one-on-ones outside, and you're going to get opportunities to create big plays.
Bill, fourth row, right.
Dan, are you glad you had this game, having now had a first-round home game? I mean, do you subscribe to the idea of the value of a tune-up, maybe, as opposed to the experience you guys had last year?
I'm always glad to play football. It's exciting. You don't get a lot of opportunities to play football, so certainly glad to have that opportunity.
Last row, out. Left.
In what ways did JMU's defense limit your explosive plays in the second half?
I just don't think we clicked on all cylinders. Like I said, there were some moments that we had success, and then a drive would stall out. But I'll have to go back and watch the film to see specifically what they did differently.
Second row, middle, brief.
Malik Benson, 2 touchdowns tonight, elite speed. How would you describe him?
Yeah, Malik's showed up for us. Certainly down the stretch of the season was certainly really great today. Obviously had some big balls that he caught, and been really proud of his progression and his growth for us in this program.
On the left here, second row.
We haven't really addressed it too much, but you guys are advancing. Get an opportunity to play in a couple weeks. What do you think this team is ready to do?
Go work, ready to go to work.
Right here on the right, Zach.
One of the better statistical days from Dante of his career. What have you seen from over the past couple of weeks, just as far as prep and then his ability to meet the moment tonight?
Yeah, we have a great quarterback, right? And he can handle a lot of situations. He can handle pressure. I know there's a couple that he went back tonight, but overall, I thought he executed our plan well.
Front, James.
On their first couple of drives in particular, it looked like they were throwing a lot in terms of scheme and formations, just a lot of variety. Anything that was either just a lot by volume or anything that Dean Kennedy did that you guys weren't expecting early on?
No, I mean, they do a lot. You go watch them throughout the season. They've always had a lot of volume really on both sides of the ball.
Third row left next.
Yeah, and a lot of batted passes at the line of scrimmage from the D line tonight. How would you assess that group and kind of how they've grown this year and a bit of what you saw from them against JMU?
Yeah, quarterback has a lower release, so we thought that could make an impact. And even when you're not necessarily making a sack, there's opportunities for plays like that. And I thought our guys did a good job of getting hands up.
All the way in the back, Aaron.
I know the game didn't really end it the way you wanted it to, but I know Autzen Stadium, showed out a lot of false starts on JMU's side. Just what would you say kind of about the crowd and how the way that the town kind of rallied around this game and embraced a first ever college football playoff game right here in Eugene?
Yeah, our crowd was outstanding. They've been outstanding every time. You knew we could always count on those guys to show up and make it an unbelievable atmosphere. I think it was really special for our seniors to get to enjoy that, and proud for them.
Back left here, Matt.
Seeing what the score is and how explosive your offense was, it gives you the confidence, though, that your team's going to take the criticism, take the coaching that you're clearly disappointed in this finish to progress next week or 2 weeks.
Just because they have in the past, right? Our guys are, about the right things when it comes to growth mindset. They're going to want to attack it, and I know they share some of the same sentiments as me.
Bree, right here on right, second row.
Seems like some of your team is echoing a lot of the stuff that you were just saying, just the disappointment in the second half. What does that say about just the standard that you guys have set and how confident you are in them going forward?
Yeah, there's a standard here. There's certainly a standard for performance. Our players know that, and they know what championship football looks like, and the second half didn't look like that.
Right here left.
Hey, Dan. I know the competition's different, but did you take anything from last year's experience in the playoff that you used for this? I know the competition was different, but it's a win-or-go-home situation. But anything from last year that you used for this year?
Yeah, a lot of our prep was different this year. And again, won't go into great detail with that, but we did do some things differently.
All the way in the back, Olivia.
Ahead of the season, the narrative surrounding this team was just young and unproven. Now there's been a full season of football and a lot of big games. How have you seen the freshmen and just younger guys step up to the moment when it is a big game?
Yeah, some of those guys got some moments again today, and we've had some growth. We've had strength in numbers all year. We've had a lot of guys that can play winning football. A lot of guys touched the field for us today. We started to roll some guys there in the second half, and we'll have to go evaluate that film because obviously the performance wasn't as good there. So while there's been growth and there's opportunities to improve, there's still a lot of opportunities in front of us to continue to grow.
Last row here, black coat.
Yeah, and there were some personnel changes there in the third quarter. How do you plan on that or adjust in game on who to bring in and who to sit out after being up several scores?
Yeah, just keep evaluating the game, right? We weren't playing well, and we had to continue to put some other guys in. But ultimately, I think the game was at hand. It was just a matter of how do you finish and perform, and that's some good experience for some guys that are in there to be able to take advantage of. I just don't know that we took advantage of that moment today.
James.
Any initial word on Theron?
I think he'll be okay.
The way up for you, Coach.
Appreciate it.
I have quickies if you want to come and get them. Like, can't tell you how quick we'll have a player. Was good. Link, there's water for you if you want.
Appreciate it.
All right, questions? Sorry, your second row there.
Curious on your emotions of kind of the balance of a big win, but also maybe a second half that was a little disappointing for most of you guys.
First, I just want to congratulate the guys. Winning in the playoff game, winning the game in general is, really hard. But, when you win and you can look at things and, clean things up, it's exciting to know that, once we fully put the pieces together, we're going to be even better.
Back on the right, run.
Just kind of following up on that, how would you describe the mood in the locker room right now?
Normally you hear the music, but, we're kind of down right now just knowing that we didn't play to our standard.
Front left, James.
You guys connected on 4 passes of 40-plus. You brought in a couple of those for touchdowns. They had allowed a good chunk of 40-yard plays this season. Was that something you guys saw on tape that you might be able to take advantage of like you did?
Just really knowing we're Oregon. We got speed on the outside and just going out there and it's attacking matchups and knowing, when Dante puts the ball in there, we got to go and win our one-on-ones.
Back on the left, Matt.
What gives you, right here, Malik, what gives you the confidence that this team can grow from this and know that the standard is better?
Like I said, normally when we come to the locker room, we're playing music, dancing, all that. But when you come to the locker room and it's almost like we felt like we lost, that's just, very exciting to see that, we're not, outcome driven.
Right here on the left, Eric.
I know it wasn't huge snap counts for either, but what was it like seeing Gary and DeCorian back and kind of maybe what that lift gives this offense going forward?
Man, it's just really exciting when you get your guys back. A guy like G, this is his last season, and you don't like any injuries, but for him to come back now, just making our offense even more special.
All the way in the back, Aaron.
Kind of just a unique experience that we've been talking about all week, hosting a playoff game. Just what did you think of the crowd tonight, the atmosphere, and just the way the community kind of rallied around this game today?
Man, just knowing that, we've been out of school for some time, just to see how the student section was, it's very electric. But, for us to have this first playoff game at Austin, just nothing but a blessing. And, shout out to JMU, coming in and, being a good team, things like that. But I feel like, just as a whole, community, they brought the juice.
Back middle with the hat.
Kind of just talk about how you felt with your routes and attacking JMU's defense tonight, whether it was deep down the field or just throughout the game as an overall wideout.
Really just all year just been winning our one-on-ones, in the run game and the pass game. So, just like I said, just being the spot for Dante, knowing, he's a great quarterback. And if I just, run my routes, us receivers, tight ends, running backs, get to our spots, he's going to find us.
Right next to him.
Yeah, there's a couple times here tonight where you're just clear. You get one-on-one and you beat a guy. Just what's in your head at that moment where like the pill's coming?
Just make that play and get in the end zone.
Front right, back.
What positives do you take from tonight? Because while you say that the standard is much higher for how you finish the game, by all means, the first half you guys were clicking on all cylinders offensively. What do you take away from this game positively?
That in the first half, we weren't on the field as an offense that much. So, just us being efficient and doing what we need to do, that's a good positive.
Second row, Bree on the right.
2 touchdowns tonight. Fun for you, I'm sure. What will you remember about tonight?
Man, just getting another opportunity to play in Autzen, just an electric crowd. And, just it's just been a blessing just this whole season, just the way it's turned out. Just coming to Oregon, everybody welcoming me with open arms to just finally get another opportunity to play in this special place. It means a lot.
Back on the left here, Matt.
How much have you seen of Texas Tech and your thoughts on just traveling out to the Orange Bowl and that matchup?
I haven't seen too much. I've just been worried about James Madison. I'll probably get onto that tonight. But, just very exciting to go down to Miami and, go against them.
Third row on the left, Max.
Malik, you had a terrific month of November yourself, but another guy that's really come on strong is Jeremiah. Obviously, you've been seeing him, but as a veteran, seeing him as a young guy, what has been kind of key, do you think, to his emergence for this offense?
Just him knowing that, he had to step up. We got a lot of great guys in that receiver room, so it's really just next man up mentality. But, we're getting our guys back, and when we're all clicking on all cylinders, it's going to get very scary for whoever we got to go against.
Good? Thanks, Malik.
Appreciate y'all.
Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. All right, questions. Back right here, last row.
J-Mac, most targets on the team and most receptions today. You've really worked your way into the offense this year and established yourself in a role now late in the season and the playoffs. You just want to talk about the connection you've had with Dante throughout the year?
I would just say it's just basically just going out there doing my job and going out there to trust trusting Dante, trusting my teammates, and just going out there doing my 111 and making the play for the Ducks. So
All right, Zach.
How's the shoulder feel?
feels fine. Feels fine.
Take row left, Eric.
I'm gonna ask you what was working in that first half in particular, and the offense was so explosive, just kind of going up and down the field. What was really clicking early?
I would just say everybody just calming down doing their 111th and everybody just taking a deep breath and having fun. So
Back row on the left, kind of in the middle there.
You've got kind of the acrobatic catches as part of like your personality. Now, everybody talks about like, oh yeah, he does this in practice all the time. How do you practice catches like that?
shoot, just being on a Monarch, just actually being on the Monarch and getting those catches in practice, like just going over those catches, going over the game plan, part of my routine every Thursday night, going over the game plan on the Monarch and just walking through what's about to happen on Saturday. So
All the way in the back on the right there, Jack.
We've heard that, after this win, there's kind of a bittersweet feeling because your guys' standard is a lot higher and that you guys are going to be working towards that standard. You guys are going up against another top defense, top 10 nationally ranked defense. Talk to me about what areas that you guys need to grow the most, especially offensively in terms as you guys prepare to travel to take on Texas Tech.
I would say keeping our composure. Texas Tech is a really great team, really good defense. Keeping our composure, everybody just going out there and doing our 111 should be the key for us.
James right here on front left.
What did it mean to the receiving core to have Dak and Gary back out there tonight?
It means a lot. They're two amazing, great weapons, so it means a lot for them to be out there with us.
We'll keep it right here.
Jeremiah, Malik said that there was no music in the locker room. It was almost like you guys lost the game. What was Coach Lanning's message to you guys in the locker room afterwards?
It was not standard in the second half. It was two completely different teams. We went out there in the second half, like it was a first half team and then the second half team. And we all know that second half wasn't our standard. So just going back to the drawing board and seeing what we can do to execute to our standard.
Do you know why there was a big difference between the first and second half?
I'll have to go back to the film and watch it and see. So
Time for two more. We'll go Max here and then Matt right behind.
Jeremiah, some say that a positioning group kind of takes on the personality of their coach. When you look at this Oregon wide receiver room, how do you know it's a Ross Douglas wide receiver room?
the blocking on the perimeter, how physical we are on the perimeter, that's how you'll know.
Right behind him, Matt.
How'd you describe just the commitment to the standard and know you guys recognize it and know that today wasn't up to par? Where do you think that drive comes from?
I would say it starts from the head man. It starts from the head man and everybody wanting to be great and everybody having that same goal and that same drive. So it starts right there with the head man.
Thanks, J-Mac. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys.
Congrats on the win.
Thank you guys.
Is water there for you? Questions? Start right here. We're back on the back row on the left.
Drives, 5 touchdowns, all less than 5 plays. What kind of went into those drives, especially those explosive plays that created the touchdowns?
Yeah, first things, I just want to give JMU their kudos. It's a talented team. They have a great coaching staff, great players. You know, they fought their tails off. You know, they deserve to be one of the 12 teams in there. But, yeah, when it comes to just our offense this game, you know, the first couple of drives were great. We executed. We know a lot of their defensive scheme coming into this game. Coach Stein and the offensive crew did a great job dissecting their defense. But overall, it was a great game. Offense did a great job. Defense did a great job. Special teams did a great job. So I'm glad to get the win.
All right, Zach.
as one of the leaders of this team, what's your message to the locker room after the game? Because Dan, was open about being frustrated that this was not up to your standard. What do you say to your teammates?
Yeah, I mean, overall, it's just, we won the game. We're advancing. Of course, the standard has to stay the standard through all the 4 quarters. But overall, I mean, that's what film is there for. Film is there to make sure we get better with these upcoming days before the next game. But, yeah, I mean, the whole team understands that this wasn't, our best game. But at the end of the day, we won the football game. And in playoffs, if you lose, you go home. So we're glad we won.
All right here, back, Brenna.
Dante, just how would you describe the emotion that you're feeling towards this game right now?
Yeah, my emotions is very high. I mean, overall, it's just great that we had a great game. Offense did a great job. The whole, Oregon team, we did a great job. It's just overall just what we did Monday through Friday to make sure we put on this type of performance today. We put up 51 points. That's a lot of points in the college football playoffs. But overall, I mean, we got a lot to work on with these upcoming days. But we're going to celebrate this win tonight. And go from there.
Back middle with the hat.
Dante, you guys had a lot of success passing deep down the field today. What went into that preparation-wise throughout the week? What were you seeing tonight? And now heading into the Texas Tech week, how do you want to build upon the successes that you had attacking in those deeper levels of the field?
Yeah, we have a great front 5 O-line. They do a great job blocking for me to have time to throw the ball downfield. But yeah, the receivers here and tight ends are special. They make great plays when the ball's in the air. I'm gonna give them a chance. But overall, I mean, we've been doing that all year. And when the big moments are needed for this team, all the players step up.
Second row, Eric.
Hit in the league for a couple of long ones. I'm curious, just what's that snap reaction when you see him break open and you just have to lay it out there for him?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about the bad one first. The one I underthrew him. He's really fast. He told me on the sideline, he's like, "You didn't have the arm to get it out there?" I said, "No." But overall, I mean, the next time I told him I'm gonna get him next time. Finally threw him in stride. I haven't thrown him in stride since probably Oklahoma State game. But overall, I mean, to him with his speed, he does a great job, getting open. But yeah, overall, we're always watching film on the sideline, seeing, leverage to attack the DBs. And overall, not even just him, J-Mac, Jamari Johnson, everybody doing a great job to get open, and they're doing what they got to do.
Back left, Matt.
This year, last year, every year, really under Dan Lanning, when the team doesn't play maybe to the standard, that next week, the next couple weeks, you see the team locked in, focused, and play better. Where does that confidence come from, where every guy up here saying, we know we didn't play well, we know we'll fix it?
Yeah, Coach Lanning's our leader. We go as he goes. I mean, he's going to make sure that he's going to push us very hard next week. We're going to watch film. Of course, he's proud of us for us making it this far. Winning this game tonight, in Alton for the fans, the community. But overall, I mean, like you said, everybody knows how Coach Lanning is. He's psycho. He's going to make sure he's going to push us at practice. He's going to, put that fire under us, and it's needed. We don't want everyone to get satisfied, and we never have been all year. We know we've been a lot of times the underdogs in situations, but overall, we're just ready to, keep competing and keep getting better as a team.
Back right.
Dante, it's a long season and it's not over yet, but now that you're into these playoff elimination games, looking back from the start of the season to now, where do you feel like you've grown the most?
Yeah, I say I think I've grown the most is, as a person when it comes to just my vocalism to the team, the way I communicate, the way I just say, things, off the field if we're on the video games, if we're here in the film room, we're on the field. I feel like I've grown the most of understanding how to adapt to every teammate on my team. Everybody's not the same. Everybody comes from different backgrounds. We all can relate in some type of way, but, I'll say example, E-Man. E-Man, when he first came in, we hardly talked to each other. But now it's like when we see each other, we're in the training room together, we're in the huddle. Every time we see him smile, we're dancing with him. Like, it's just this team has grown so much, and it just comes from the way we're just so connected.
James, front left.
It's been nearly 2 months since you had a fully stocked receiving core. What was it like to have Dak and Gary back out there, even if it wasn't exactly at 100%, but more than it's been in a while?
Yeah, I just love how the fans were cheering on Evan when he caught his first, warm-up pass in a long time. I was just glad to see him back as well. But yeah, Decorian, Gary, everybody getting back, it is great to have all your weapons. But I think the best thing with them, and I always give them the credit, is when they're not on the field playing or these past couple weeks haven't been participating as much. I think they've grown so much better as being, vocal in the film room and like in the weight room. Of course, Decorian's young, but he's had a lot of experience this year. He's make sure he's pushing Cooper. He makes sure he's talking to J Mac. Gary, of course, is the old head in the room, so he just talks and just keeps preaching game to the receivers. So I feel like with them too, not being able to play these past couple weeks, they've for sure grown being more vocal to the guys.
Stand right here.
Next up is Texas Tech. They got Jacob Rodriguez at linebacker, 5th in the Heisman. David Bailey, a lot of nice players on defense. What kind of challenge will they present to you guys?
Yeah, we're going to celebrate this win tonight. Watch film on them. Texas Tech is a great team. They have great ball players over there. But overall, we're going to celebrate this win and not look too forward.
Back left, man.
Lanning often talks about you, the players, have the opinion that matters. And one of the first things you said today was JMU deserved to be in this. I'm curious why. What did you see that? Because outside, a lot of people were curious about why they should be here.
I mean, look at the stats. I mean, they put up numbers. Look at their previous games. If you think about it, if you look at Indiana's football team, they all came from JMU. They came, for a great coaching staff. JMU is always developing great players. The quarterback, he can play anywhere in the country, to be honest. He has an arm. He's very, a great leader out there. The running back's really good. They put up the numbers, and the numbers are going to speak, But overall, they're 1 to 12 teams. There's 100 and whatever the amount of teams in the college football. But just them being there, them being able to come here and play in Alton. It was great to play against them. Very competitive team.
Last question, Max.
Dante, you guys have now played 13 games, really long season. Just wanted to kind of ask you, what's your experience been like just enduring the grind of a season and getting all the way to this point?
Yeah, this is the longest season I ever played in my life. I never played as much football before, and it's a blessing. Just being here with the guys, just being able to push ourselves every day. From the start of us playing Montana State to us playing, JMU, it's been a long journey. And, I feel like with this team, we were very young at the beginning of the year, but we've had a lot of experience. We've been pushing each other every day. We've been growing so much closer as a team, and we just love the game of football. And Coach Landon is going to do a great job to keep pushing us and make sure we keep tackling forward.
Bonus question, James.
Bonus.
Part of leadership, and you've projected a lot and talked about joy and happiness. You've said it a lot of times already tonight. Great job. And having that kind of voice, there's something to be said for that.
Mm-hmm.
But part of it also can be accountability. That doesn't always look pretty. Will you take a different posture in the locker room, in the meeting rooms over the next 24, 48 hours based on how you feel? Maybe if you're not even projecting it here now, will that look different in a room that there's no music blaring and guys are talking about feeling like they lost tonight?
Yeah. No, that's a great question. I'll be myself through the wins and the losses. Of course, you always want to learn from certain moments, but I'm trying to tell you, as our team, as our offense, if we're not smiling through the bad, we're never going to exceed to be, what we can be. I know a lot of people say it's not a lot of great film tonight, but at the end of the day, we got to win. And I know myself is if I'm, not being myself, the team's going to look at me and, hold me accountable. So I think through every moment from us being in the film room, we're always going to have a smile on our face. We're just blessed to be here, blessed to be in, Eugene, Oregon, playing the game we love.
Thanks, Dante.
Thank you. God bless you guys.
All right, Tatum. All right, let's open up to questions. Back here on the left. Then we'll go all the way back. Then 2 over from him.
Coming into this Wayne Knight right here, one of the best running backs in the country, top 10 in most statistical categories. What went into stopping him tonight, and how do you think that you guys found success?
Yeah, I think that first of all, that running back's good, man. He's a big time player for them. And at the end of the day, we just had to find ways to just play relentless, especially against when you're guarding him. You're just gonna have to do your best, man, to stop a good player.
Yeah, we just heard people come in here and say they're dissatisfied with, especially on the second half. What do you think changed in the second half?
Yeah, I don't think nothing changed. I think that we just got to be better, especially with just focusing on one play at a time. At the end of the day, whoever's on the field is a starter for us, and we got to make sure that we uphold the standard. And it's good that we've seen it now. Make sure that we can continue to fix it, continue to reflect on it, and then continue to develop from there.
Saying we're on the left here, Eric.
Can bad film be something helpful at this time of the year in terms of just kind of maybe refocusing this group as you move on in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think that we can always learn from bad mistakes and just make sure that we don't make them again, especially moving on towards this next opponent. We just continue to work on our mistakes, and then we can fix them.
All the way in the back, Eric.
I know tackling was a big emphasis this week. How did you feel like the team tackled tonight? Do you feel like it was better in the first half than maybe the second? And what are you maybe going to do forward to continue to work on it?
Yeah, for sure. Tackling was better in the first half. Second half, we could do better for sure. And I think it's just at the end of the day, we got to go low, make sure we wrap up and finish the play. That's simple.
All right, Brennan.
Just, the mood in here has been pretty subdued from what we've been told. The mood in the locker room is pretty subdued as well. What is it like dealing with the emotions of, yes, you guys won, but it kind of doesn't feel like you guys won a little bit. So how is it kind of dealing with that emotion?
Yeah, I think that we all know that we have a better standard than that. Obviously, we came out victorious, but we all know that there's a better version of Oregon that we can show and that we can uphold to. And I think that that's why everyone's a little upset, because we know that we can play better. We for sure want to fix those mistakes to play better.
All the way in the back on the right, Jack.
Just building on that, in the second half, JMU had quite a few more explosive plays. I believe it was 6 plays in the second half that they had 20 or more yards. How do you guys balance that and make sure that you don't give up as many explosives as you guys continue your postseason push?
Yeah, I think that just comes down to everyone doing their 1/11th. No matter what call we're in, I think we just got to make sure that we're all on the same page and make sure that we communicate, especially up front and also in the back end. Just making sure we're all on the same page so we can play the same defense.
Back middle, Olivia.
At the beginning of the season, you spoke about how there were a lot of Oregon fans that might have been a little bit scared at the beginning of the season because of the lack of experience. Now you guys are 13 games in. You're headed to the quarterfinals of the college football playoff. What do you think you've shown the nation about this team, and what are the emotions that you're feeling heading to the Orange Bowl?
Yeah, I would just say that this team, no matter what no one say, we just gonna continue to work, continue to push each other. At the end of the day, it's all about the brotherhood in there. We playing for something bigger than just this game, something bigger than just ourselves. We playing for each other in there. So as being young, whatever, we a football team. We ready to continue to push through so that we can continue to play games together.
Last question here on the left, Matt.
A lot of guys, like your teammates, have talked about, they know the standard and they know that things will get fixed. Where does that confidence come from that you know that you'll progress after this week?
Yeah, we've been doing it all year. Every game, really, there's a lot of mistakes. And every Monday we go to the doctor, and it's not supposed to be something that you hear that's good. Like you trying to find mistakes, you're trying to fix things. So on Monday we're gonna go to the doctor. We're gonna make sure that we get our corrections we need, and then we're gonna sew them up throughout this week that we have.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Congrats on the win.
What's up, guys?
All right, questions? Here on the left, Eric.
Bryce, just initial thoughts of advancing and what that means, and then maybe kind of just the performance as a whole for the defense in the second half maybe wasn't up to standard. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we're gonna celebrate a win. I'm happy to move on and keep advancing. So it's a positive note. Obviously, we didn't pull the standard in the second half. You know, it is what it is. We'll look at the film and get better.
James, front left.
Tosh talked earlier in the week about one of you guys' top, if not the top goal, is take away the opposing offense's identity. Is there anything you feel like you guys were able to take away tonight, Bryce?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say in that first half when we were ones on ones, like they couldn't run the ball, and obviously they had one explosive run in there, but other than that, we kind of eliminated most of their offense, and especially we got in the red area, which is a big emphasis for us this year. Is our red area defense hasn't been great, so I'm proud of the guys for stepping up in those moments.
All the way in the back left.
Bryce, between the third and the fourth quarter, you seemed to look around during shout. What were your emotions of that moment, being this is your last game at Autzen?
Yeah, it was pretty special, man. I feel like I've had a lot of possible last games at Autzen, but this one was like the first that was for real, for real. So that was pretty special. I was looking at my family in the stands and just soaking it all in. You know, I remember listening to that song when I was 4 years old, coming to games, and you know, it's pretty bittersweet.
Right here on the left, Max.
Bryce, you guys have played 13 games now. Long season has a tendency to wear on a team, certainly physically. Just describe the mentality of this team and how you guys are attacking such a long, arduous season.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you got to be smart with how you practice. But with that being said, like we practice hard and we're relentless. Someone asked me on the field what describes this year's team, and I'd say energy, effort, and relentlessness. And in football, you have those things. It's going to carry you a long way. So I'm proud of our guys.
Fourth row, left, Matt.
During Dan's time here, whether it's after a loss or a game like this where maybe you didn't play to your standard, the next game, the next couple games, the level of play is better. The standard is a lot higher. Where do you feel like that confidence comes from you guys to know that you'll play better the next time, you'll get things right from this lesson?
Yeah, we got no option to. You know, if we don't play better, our season will be over. Texas Tech is, you know, JMU is a good football team. I'll give them their credit, but Texas Tech is better. So we got to play good football, and I'm excited for what's going to happen down in Florida. Should be fun.
Back middle.
Between the highs in the first half and then some of the lows in the second half, what is the biggest thing that you want to take away from this game to carry over into that Texas Tech game? And what's the biggest thing you want the defense to focus on coming out of this game and prepping for the one that's ahead?
Yeah, I'd say energy, effort, and doing your job. When you play hard and you do your job, good things happen. And when you don't do your job, as we saw in the second half, you know, they'll hit explosives and they'll score. You know, it's happened all season. It's just the game of football. And we've also been great all season. So just learning from it. We're going to learn from on Monday and getting ready for Tech.
Anything else?
Thanks, guys.
Bryce, appreciate it. Thank you.
I'll make sure you don't record on. Are we done?
Yeah, coordinators next. One at a time.
It shows up in here in my phone.
I think it's probably something. The other one flushed there, so that's good.
You want to try it one right now? No, you taking it out, put it back in, the whole thing.
How we doing?
So right here on the left with James.
Tosh, you said earlier in the week that your guys' primary goal is to take away the opposing offense's identity, and you've certainly done that a lot this season. Do you feel like there was any aspect of their identity that you guys took away successfully tonight?
Yeah, I think we played a really strong first half, and got complacent and comfortable. So I was very disappointed how we came out and had a 3-and-out to start the drive of the second half. So it was a good, successful stop. Then we gave up a fake punt and then gave up a touchdown on the ensuing play, and was really disappointed in our overall finish in the second half. So I think we had a play count of 98 plays. That's what I was just told. And so obviously, if the play count is accurate that high, then we got to do a much better job getting off the field and not allowing extended drives there, especially in the second half.
Questions? Back here, back right.
Was there anything that JMU did specifically that you were really surprised by? Because it seemed, second half especially, lots of explosion plays on their end.
No. Yeah, I thought we had a great plan, executed that well in the first half, came out with a couple of, adjustments of our own that felt like gave us an effective chance. And, there's just no excuse for whether losing in one-on-ones, that we felt like we could be in a better position to do so. We had a couple of individuals lined up on the wrong side of the field at times, which that's not going to be a very effective defense if that's the case. So doesn't matter who's out there. It's one standard. And like I said, really, really disappointing finish there. So difficult to enjoy, relish the moment that we should be right now for an awesome season and continuing on. But I'm just more so pumped to really dive in deep and improve and address it immediately, where we went wrong there in the second half and gave up way too many points in explosives.
On the left, your middle backs.
Tosh, you spoke just now about how you're pumped up to attack the process all over again. Dan's talked about your work ethic and how you're one of the hardest workers he's been around. Just describe it as what you enjoy so much about the preparation and just diving into everything.
Yeah, I think that's really the most joy of it all is that, and to get positive results from the work that you put in. So, that's I'll be as soon as I leave from here, we'll be starting that process and turn on the second half and address every single play that we went wrong on, and where we need to improve. And I got a good feel. Obviously, these days where you get to watch the iPad, so know quite a few of them already. Like one of them I just mentioned, where we have a day one install call, and a young man is lined up on the wrong side of the field. So that's not going to work very well. So it starts with me. I got to make sure he's aligned on the right side of the field. So we'll certainly get that corrected.
Right here, Zach.
When you're in the second half and you start to see things going down the wrong way, and what's your message to the team to try and snap them out of it, get the momentum to stop going that way?
Yeah, just there's one standard. I was proud of our guys to have some great what we call put out the fire. So some reactionary defense to some adversity that we faced from other sides. I was proud to see the guys get some big time stops, some red zone stops early on. So we're gonna take victory and defeat for the imposter that they are, and we got a victory. Very pleased for that. But this is a unacceptable performance in the second half, by our defense. So it's to answer your question, we operate to one standard. So quite frankly, there was some developmental guys out there on the field, obviously, in the second half. And then we changed those guys out and went back to our ones, and we gave up some really poor, defensive plays with those guys on the field as well. So, it's operating to a standard. It's not getting lackadaisical, whatever the score was. I think we went in at halftime at, what was the score, 34-6, and again, like I said, we came out and started out the right way, got a 3 and out. And then just it's unacceptable of the explosives we gave up, and so we got to put the guys in the right position, and we got to go execute.
Here on the left, Eric.
Mentioned a couple times kind of your excitement to attack the process of working on some of these things. Why are you confident this group will be receptive and join you in that enthusiasm to get better?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an amazing, group. So the culture, everything, this is, even in these situations, this entire season, when we do get up on a team, like we have, I think the guys have continued that. There's some moments that stuck out. I think it was Minnesota game and stuff where some guys stuck to that standard that were out there in the game. I was really proud of them. So, we're going to get the corrections immediately. I'm going to do that tonight, and then bring the guys in and address them immediately. But like I said, I mean, I'm pissed off right now, just quite frankly. So we went in the locker room after the game, and I made that clear, and Coach Lanning, of course, as well. When we got it's a bittersweet feeling that we get to move on, and very thankful for that. But if we played anywhere remotely close this next game, the way we did in the second half, then we're going to have a disappointing feeling after the game. So we're going to address that, and then and grow from it. So thankfully, you get the ability to win and continue and still be able to make these corrections. So we're thankful for that.
Last question here, James.
Is there any one number that is infuriating you most, Tosh? Because there's a lot here that is season highs, and most since last season. When it's 3 straight postseason games now of 500 plus yards and these kind of numbers, there will be naturally a lot of questions outside, and I'm sure there'll be that many more inside. Is there one that is jumping out at you that is most?
You're referring to a statistic or
statistic, any number, the
no.
34 points, the 500 yard,
yeah.
Anything rushing, pass, anything. It's most.
No, I mean they're all of them. So, again, to have a dominating performance like we did in the first half and follow it up with that is just the overall, most disappointing. So I haven't watched the film yet, so I could answer that after we watch the film and correct it.
Thanks, Tosh.
Okay, thank you for your time.
All right.
Okay, back here on the right-hand side, back right.
Coach, I asked Dante the same question, but 13 games into the season now, it's been a long way now that you're into these, playoff elimination games. Dante's 13 straight starts, first 13 starts at Oregon. Where have you seen him grow the most?
I think I said in here the other day, he's just got full command of the offense. I think when he first got here, he was still figuring it out, just like any new player in our program does. The terminology, the reads, the checks, and now he's at the point to where he's making plays on the field similar to, what Bo did and, what Dylan did towards the end. But he's, completely composed and just has a full grasp on what we're doing, and he can anticipate the play calls. I feel like we're really in sync, play caller to quarterback, and that relationship's huge.
Middle right here.
Oregon's always been known for, the speed. How fun is it for you to call plays and get those guys in space and watch them just erase those angles?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, our team speed is legit. Not just our wideouts, but our backs, our tight ends, everybody can run. Our O-line can run. So that definitely, as a play caller, it frees me up a lot knowing that I can get those guys in space and they're going to make plays.
Brenna?
I got a lot on my plate right now. Coach Stein, one of the things that Tosh just said is that he's pissed off. Does that resonate with you? Do you feel that same way? What are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I mean, we play to a standard. We always have. We always will. And so when you don't maybe match that standard, even in a playoff game, an elimination game, you still feel some type of way. Every coach regrets calls every time, whether you win or lose. Just for speaking from experience, there's plays that I want back from 2 years ago here, even in wins. So there's plenty of stuff that we can all improve on, and that's the great thing is we get to improve next week and play a really good team, in Miami. But you definitely celebrate the wins, especially now. But you also look at the reality of the situation. We threw 2 picks, in critical situations. One in the 2-minute drill, end of half, and then one in the low red where we feel like we could have taken advantage of those looks and really ended the game. So there's plenty of things to clean up, but definitely glad we got the win.
Front left here, James.
Even if they didn't get a ton of run, you haven't had a fully loaded receiving core in about 2 months. So to have Dak and Gary back out there, what did it offer you, even if it was somewhat limited in terms of rep count, and what may it offer you in 12 days from now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just offered J-Mac and Malik and Cooper, those guys, like some rest too, so they don't have to go the entire game. So that was big for us, just having, like you mentioned, Gary and DeCorian out there, and it was just great to see them out there again. I think they pose a lot of threats to the defense. Their speed, their willingness to block on the perimeter, their ball in hand, attributes that they have. They're just exceptional players. Can free you up in a little bit more 11 personnel if you want to do that, but we've kind of found a groove in like who we are this year and trying to keep that identity going. But definitely, I mean, strength in numbers is huge for us. It helps us in practice too. Just guys aren't just gassed out there. Like we can actually get quality reps. So that's it was really cool to see them back out there, and I thought they did a really good job. I mean, Corey's one of his first plays in there. He gets big time blocks on the perimeter to spring Dier when they're in like a mug 7-up look that we get the ball on the edge. So proud of him and Gary. They're just selfless players, and they did a really nice job tonight.
First off, I love the hat.
Oh, yeah. Support your local O-line coach.
Yeah.
That's right.
Since the 12-team playoff, it's become more common for assistant coaches to be named head coaches at other programs but remain with their current team during the playoffs. How challenging has that been for you so far, and is it what you expected, having to basically do 2 jobs now?
Yeah, I definitely wear 2 hats, but when I'm here in the building, I'm all Oregon. Try to compartmentalize my day, use the morning time with the 3-hour time change in Lexington to try to maximize phone calls or things that I need to do before we're here at work at Oregon, and then late night making calls when I need to. But in between, it's about winning and getting this team to where we want to get to and spending all my efforts into these players who really are the reason why I'm in this position, them and Dan Lanning. So I owe it to them. I owe it to this university, this state, all of our fans, all the people that help our program to finish this thing the right way.
On the left here, middle, Max.
Well, obviously the wide receiver depth was tested this past month, and feels like they really stepped up to that call. Can you just describe kind of what it was like attacking that challenge, and maybe how you grew from it as a play caller?
Totally, yeah. It forced me to get into different, I don't want to say different personnels, but to utilize more personnel groupings than maybe I have in the past. We've been pretty much a 11, 12, 13 operation. We've experienced and dabbled with some 21 personnel, 2 back sets, and 22, but now we've done it a lot more. But I think it just creates a lot of conflict in the defense. You can, if you have split backs, you can run the ball both directions. I mean, that's just one. There's a lot of different protection schemes that you can get into, and it just, I think it messes with backer fits because they have to figure out which way the ball's going on the snap. So that's been really cool. And those backs have been elite since they got here, and they all have different kind of abilities in different ways. Jordan's your bruiser, Noah's your slasher, Dier is a home run hitter. It's a lot of fun to play with. We even got into 30 personnel tonight, which was fun. Direct snap to Jordan, so I like doing that too. But yeah, those guys. I mean, it's like fun toys for sure. And we keep experimenting, and sometimes the plays that you work all week don't show up in that next game, and you try to just carry them over and just keep working them and keep greasing them up. And some of them showed up tonight.
Second row, Eric.
What allowed kind of the vertical passing game to have so much success in that first half in particular?
Well, yeah, James Madison's a heavy one high man or no deep man outfit. So, I mean, we knew going into this game we had to get the ball in the perimeter early with our transportation, pin pull schemes. If they were all mugged up, I mean, common sense. If they're all inside, you run outside. If they're outside, you run inside. So that was, a lot of the plan going into this is to attack them. And then there were some personnel mismatches that we felt we could take advantage of, and we did, especially with Malik, on his first touchdown catch. Thought we had a great matchup there with their field corner and a heavy set, and we were able to hit home tonight on multiple vertical passes.
Last question on the left, Matt.
Wanted to give you an opportunity to support your local offensive line coach. Why should this team win the Joe Moore Award?
Malik Terry is the best offensive line coach in the country. Cutter Leftwich is in that room, who's actually going with me to my next spot. We've had guys like Mike Cavanaugh, too, that have poured in this room. Ryan Walk, our graduate assistant, Holden Whipple, Dallas Warmack. Like, that group of men that coach those players are the best in the country, the best that I've ever been around. They pour into them. They're extremely well connected. They really play for each other. It's unbelievable. And then when you look at guys like Poncho and World and Pregnon, Dave, Harkey, I mean, Janoris Wilson, who's played this year, Fox Crater, Charlie Pickard, the list goes on and on, how much those guys practice their ass off. And they literally they hit all the time. It's not like a wideout or running back or quarterback. I mean, those guys are straining every single day, and they've just battled, and they don't complain. They don't do anything. They just show up every single day. Credit to them. Credit to Alik. Credit to all those guys in that room that just really pour into each other. And I mean, it's a fun group to coach.
Thanks, Will.
Is that it? All right. See y'all.